Hi, Tom from bknutrition.com. In this video I'm going to be talking to one of my clients who's built muscle and lost body fat at the same time over the course of 5 months. And the purpose of the video is to give you an insight into my coaching, what Andy has achieved, how he felt on the process, how he found the process, was it easy, was it hard? And we're also going to look at the back end of my coaching program to see how I use clients' data, how I present it to them, and how it helps me to help them to see how they've improved their body and how they can move forward. So hope you enjoy the video, and let's get to it. Okay. So hi Andy, thanks for agreeing to come on and chat to me about your results on the on the program that you did. Could you just introduce yourself and say why originally you came to work with me?
Hello, Tom. No, it's a pleasure, mate, to be here. I am Andrew. I'm 43 years old, father of two, office worker. I think it was pretty much beginning of this year, the second lockdown or third lockdown I think we had, and I'd pretty much given up on everything. It was no exercise, eating whatever I wanted, drinking whatever I wanted, and it got to probably about April, May time or so. I think I reached out to you in April and said, help. I didn't want to train. I didn't want to have any gym work, anything to do with eating sensibly or anything, but I knew I felt rubbish. So yeah, it was pretty much, I think it was about April. I said, help me please. And
Sure.
And that's when we started.
And it's September now, so it's been a good sort of five months, and we'll have a look at the pictures and stuff in a minute. But how would you describe the how those 5 months have been for you?
Yeah, it has. It seems to have flown by. Actually, it's. I suppose one word is it's been easy. It's strange. The 5 months, it got my headset back into training, into eating all right, and it was very much. There was no hard point of a crossover of right now I'm going to stop doing everything and now I'm going to start eating strict and training hard. It was very gradual process. It was very much a changed mindset and get me enjoying the gym again, get me wanting to wake up and eat all right and to enjoy it. I mean, as I say, the word easy is pretty much, it's not been a challenge. I've almost eaten what I've wanted, but the mindset has changed into eating sensibly, having those sensible choices, eating consistently, not overindulging. But yeah, I think that's the only word I can describe is it's been easy.
So you say it's been easy. It's because obviously people think, oh, losing weight and getting into shape is easy. You just have to eat less and move more. So if it's been easy, why was it not easy before? What do you think got in your way before?
I think in the past I've tried all different sorts of things. Probably everyone has, and it's always been a very much a structured, strict eating program. Getting in training, you get results quick, but it's not sustainable, and then you bounce back. With this, it has been sustainable. As I say, with the word easy, I haven't felt like I've been restricting myself in any way. It's very much living life normally. As I say, I'm father of two kids, and my wife, we do a lot. It's hard to be able to prepare and to plan and to run around with Tupperware boxes and stick to certain times and all this. So it's a 3 meals a day kind of thing, a snack in between here and there. But it's never felt like, right, I've really got to control what I'm eating, or I'm not allowed that, or I'm not allowed this. It has been very smooth, and it's been a gradual process. Of course, it's 6 months or so, 5 months. It's been a gradual process of getting into that mindset and building myself up to eating what I'm eating and not feeling like well, I suppose there are times I feel like I'm cheating, but I'm not. Everything's accountable. Everything's managed for. So yeah, it's just really effective.
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear some banging in the background there. I'm at the gym at the moment, and someone started just deadlifting right over there. So if you can hear a banging,
it's always
banging away. Okay, so what would you say the best thing about what we put in place? Because everyone's got their own specific program that they get. But what was the best thing about you? What did you like the most out of it?
The most effective thing for me is that accountability, is that I guess it's that tracking, especially to start with. It was that tracking. It was the what am I doing for workouts? What am I doing for eating? How am I controlling that? You know, it wasn't even to the point of sticking to strict macros or anything. It was just really getting an idea of what I'm eating. How can I balance that out? What are the goods? What are the bads? You know, it was making sure that I'm detailing all of that. There were times where I'd think in the past, sorry, I'm going to go and eat X, Y, Z, whatever it is, you know, having the numbers, having written it all down, I can make that choice of, well, actually, can I allow for that today? Can I allow for that this week? Yes or no? And it gave me that kind of, it was a structure in a way, but it was almost a simple structure, which was very manageable, very easy to follow and very easy to stick to.
Cool. And so a lot of my clients say that there's a moment along the way where there's like a light bulb moment even, where things just start to click. Was there like a time for you to go, yeah, this is now working, I can see it working, and what was that like?
Yeah, it was. Again, I go back to the eating, because it's eating and it's training. Training, I never really had a problem once I'd started getting back into it, and that kind of really pushed me on. The eating thing, I remember going back probably a couple of months ago, and there was a period of it, maybe it was a week or two, where I hadn't tracked anything, or hadn't written anything down, hadn't measured anything like this. It was almost intuitively eating. And it was at that point where I thought, well, I know what I'm eating here. I know roughly how much I have of proteins, carbs, fats, very, very guesstimate in that respect. But it was towards the end of the day, I think, I've eaten enough. I know roughly what I've eaten, and I followed that along. And as I say, it was only for a short period. I thought, yeah, I kind of got this. You know, I still enjoy, or I still like to have that consistency in recording everything. And it's, again, it's following numbers and data. But yeah, it's very much a case of I'm sustaining this. It was very kind of, yeah, pretty much. I don't know what word to use. It was
Got to
very
a Jedi
manageable.
level.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
You knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
So okay, so you went on holiday while we were working together, because
Yeah.
there's this. I think when we first started talking, there was this talk about the holiday, wasn't there? So and a lot of people get worried about, what am I going to do on holiday, and the impact it's going to be, and is it going to mess up my diet? So how was that experience for you, going on holiday, then coming back, and everything?
Yeah, so again, this was in addition to as I mentioned earlier about the having a week off of intuitive eating. So again, it was kind of similar. And as the time approached, as it got nearer, obviously we discussed around best plans, what we could do for it, how to cover it, because I did have some worries, and there was a case of, oh, I'm going to get there and I'm going to start drinking loads and eating loads, and there's no gym at the hotel and things like this. So it was very much the tools that I had in my belt from the few months that we've been going through, and it was very, very manageable. You know, it was to the point where I got to the airport that morning, and it was well, I know I'm going to have some lunch. I know I've eaten all right. I know I'm going to eat all right later. And again, it was the intuitive eating. I didn't take scales with me. I didn't do any of this. But if I wanted a beer, I had a beer. I just knew I had to account for it. I think, right, how can we manage this? If I wanted a dessert every now and then, I had a dessert. But it was very much that I know that over the last few months, what I've been eating and what I can manage, and what kind of fits, what sits into that weekly of eating, what sits into that day of eating. And it was very, very manageable, very straightforward.
Good. So are you ready to have a look at the 5 months progress?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Let's have a look. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the inside of the program, where you can see all the bits and bobs.
Okay, mate.
Okay, 2 secs. Okay, just adjust. The deadlifter's really gone to town now. He's really
Yeah, I
banging
can hear
away.
it. Okay, you have to go throw something at him.
All right. Okay. So this is the weight progress over time. So the
Yeah.
red line here is the average, and the blue lines are the fluctuations. And I think it's obviously we talked about this during the time we're working together, and a lot of people do think that weight loss is just a straight line, so you get the calorie deficit and it's straight down. Whereas actually we can see here that it was up and down all the time,
Yeah.
and that this is really common. And actually you can see here you went up on average on weight and then down again and then dipped
Yeah.
and so it's been, you have obviously lost weight. We're going to look at the pictures in a minute, but also you've gained some muscle, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that was one of the key things. I'd gotten tremendously out of shape from that lockdown at the beginning of the year, and it was a case of, well, I need to build up some muscle. I want to obviously chip away the body fat as well. So it was twofold. It wasn't just a case of let's strip all the body fat and go for that. So yeah, the weight, obviously, as we've discussed over the last few months, there's reasoning behind it, how it's in effect stabilized.
Hmm. And when was the holiday? What was the date then?
I think we got that down as the flat line, which we see must have been, it was around middle of August now.
Yeah,
So we accounted for that.
yeah, so this flat line here is where we didn't record for a whole
Yep.
week.
Mhm.
And but what's interesting is that we went down, obviously when you were away you had a bit of extra food and enjoyed yourself and everything else, and the weight went up, and most
Yep.
people be annoyed about that.
Mm.
But when we look at the photos, if we go over to photos now, this is the before and after,
Yep.
which you can absolutely see that there's more muscle being get. Okay, you got a tan, so let's just be honest. We didn't get the tan for the purposes of the before and after pictures. It was actually a holiday, but yeah, you can see that you've gained muscle across the back here, gained muscle across the chest, and more importantly, lost a lot of this belly fat around here.
Yep. I mean, that's always been the last place for me to lose anything, and it almost kind of just stores there. But as I say, I mean, it's still chipping away slowly but surely. But
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can fit in my clothes a lot better, that's for sure.
I mean, for a 5-month progress, because a lot of people, when they go for diets, are like 6-week shreds, 8-week shreds, whatever. And I have done like 6-week shred programs myself in the past, like with clients and stuff. But I think the real take home from this is that this is a real sort of gradual progression, but it's also you're at a point now where it's unlikely you'll go back to where you were before, because you've got so many of these systems built up now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sustainable and it has been gradual. And I've not wanted to be in that point of I need to go on this 6-week shred and I need to chip everything away as quickly as possible, because I know in the past, from past experience, it's not been sustainable. So one of the key things was, right, well, I need to chip away the body fat and I need to build up muscle. And how can I do that sustainably? How can I do that consistently? And how can I kind of effectively just keep doing that throughout lifestyle? Given that I've got a sedentary job, given that I've got wife, kids, I can't live in the gym or anything like that in that respect. So so it's how can I manage that around my everyday life, and I found quite a nice level to do so.
And what sort of workouts were you doing in the gym?
So you've got quite a lot of your plans. So I've had a flick through some of these in the program as well. I've also been training with friends where we've kind of done a lot of the push pull, but it's just weights. I haven't done any cardio. Cardio is pretty much steps, just daily steps, and it's just keeping tabs on that. And this was one of the key things when I think we discussed to start with. It was, how much cardio do I need to do? And I remember you laughing about it. Yeah, he says, no, we're not doing it. And it was pretty much, let's focus on weights. And with the aid of the MyZone belt, using that, making sure that it's hitting at least a good 500 calories on average of workout. Yeah, it was just weights. And to do weights and not have to stress over cardio is fine by me. As I say, getting a fair number of steps out during the day just just general movement. But yeah, this was all just working on weights in the gym.
And that's really key, isn't it? Because there's, I mean, obviously I think you've been a previous client before and doing target lean and stuff like that, and obviously you've been following me for a while, and if anybody's been following my content, they would know that I always talk about it's a calorie deficit. You don't have to do cardio to lose body fat, and you should be doing exercises that you like doing.
Yep.
And so many people, when they're looking for fat loss, it's like, right, I'm starting a diet now, so I will now start to get on the treadmill and do 40 minutes of cardio a day. And for many people, it's just not necessary if you get the food and the workouts right.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this. I've kind of got that balance of eating okay, and training okay, and it's going the direction that I want. Of course, I'm going to continue, and I want to get leaner than I am. By the time I get on my next holiday, then be in great shape and feel really good and confident. But it's knowing that I've got that nice. I can go train. I can go and eat all right. I don't have that stress or that worry of, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that, or I've got to go and sit on the treadmill for the next hour every single day for the next 3 months. I don't need to.
Here's another interesting thing as well, because again, when people go for diets, that immediately what they do is just drop calories, and it's always drop carbs and keto, and then increase their calories. So
I think if you'd have told me to drop carbs, I'd have hung up.
That we don't talk about that here. We don't do that here. If we look at the calories that you ate through the whole period, you can see. Okay, this is the period where you were away on holiday, so we didn't monitor that. So that's reason it's straight there. But if you look at the calories, it's pretty strict between about 1,800 up to 2,300.
Yeah.
So it really didn't drop that many calories. We just increased. Here's the work rate. Here's your calories out. Here's the work rate going up, and then eating a bit better in terms of more protein and a better timing of carbs and that sort of thing. And the calories pretty much stay. And actually, if you see here right at the beginning where you lost the most weight, you're actually on lower calories.
Yeah, bizarre.
Yeah, and I think we increased a little bit so that you could get more energy for the gym.
Yeah,
you can see here that as you've gone along, you haven't really changed your calories, just been outputting more in the gym. And what's also interesting, you can see this yellow. These are the spikes up and down. So you didn't follow an exact, I must eat this many calories per day model. You went for the average, which was like, I'll eat this many calories on average during the week. So you can see you got high spikes here on, say, like weekends and stuff like that, and then lower days on other days of the week. And that's brought that average, and you're still eating, over 2,000 calories a day. And now, I suppose the emphasis now is although monitoring your weight is still an important monitoring factor, it's not actually the determining factor, because you're starting to gain more muscle. So as you gain more muscle and lose body fat, that weight on the scales is not that important, but it's less relevant to how much progress you're making.
It's funny actually. I obviously I weigh myself every single morning when I get up, but the numbers have never bothered me. I think it's just where obviously the photos are key in keeping track on how the body shape's changing. But the number on the scale, that's never really been a major worry for me. It's a good tracking point. For example, after a weekend on a Monday morning, may well jump on the scales and think, oh, it's gone up another kilo. But it's very manageable. And again, going back to the calories, the spikes, the peaks, the troughs, it's all very manageable over the week as well. I'll have a takeaway on a Saturday night, but I'll plan for it. I know I'm going to have a takeaway. So the Friday, maybe I'll go a little bit easier and shave off 100 or 200 calories here. It's almost a bit of give and take. You've spoken about it in a lot of your past media as well, around the borrowing from the day and giving back a little. It's very manageable.
And let's just have a case in point here. So here's here's like your average weight at the moment is about let's see, it's about 94. Now you're also about that weight back in June. So
Yep.
if we went back to the photos here, and if we look at the comparison photos, so let's take that one out there. And if we look at, say, it was June, wasn't it? So if we look at those photos in June, let's have a look there. So 12th of June there, and then compare those. Now you're at your 94 kilos in both of these pictures. And okay, you know, let's be completely critical. There's a slight angle difference here to here, but you can clearly see that at 94 kilos now, you're much more different person, physique wise, than you are here. You can see that there's less body fat here. There's more muscle at the top here. Same on the back there, and you're the same weight.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important for people to understand, that weight on the scales is just how much mass you've got and what that mass is composed of. That's the important thing. If it's more muscle and less body fat, that's great. You know, it doesn't matter what weight you are.
And then the one thing I've never ever done over the year, I've been using the gym, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years or so on and off. But the one thing I've never done when I've done these fad diets and these 6-week eat nothing and shred it all off, I've never ever taken photos and pictures. So it's very much a case of, oh, has it or hasn't it? I feel better. Okay, my belt's a little looser, but I mean, it's been key over the last 5-6 months, because there have been times where we've had check-ins and we've had catch-ups, and I think, yeah, it was an all right couple of weeks, but I don't know. And then we've had a look at the photos and I've been like, wow, there is a difference. I can see it. You know, it's a win that spurs you on a little bit more to keep going.
Yeah, I suppose when you look at it yourself every day, you don't see that, and it's when you see that like 4 months ago or 4 weeks ago picture to now, or I suppose as well when you meet people you haven't seen for a few weeks and they go, oh, you know, you look different, you lost weight, whatever. And that's
absolutely.
It's quite, and it can sometimes it can be very down if you look at the weight all the time and go, oh, I've not lost weight. But you look at those pictures like, well, actually, I look a lot better now than I did then, but I'm still the same weight.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
Cool. So, so what's the next goal you're moving towards now? Because obviously we're getting this more muscle, losing body fat. What's next on the plate for you?
I just keep going, just gains.
All the gains.
You know, there's not a point where I'm gonna certainly get to any bigger than I am. I don't think I physically could. I think probably size wise, it's to a limit. Weight wise, maybe to a limit. For me though, it's still sticking to the as I say, the eating's the easy part now. It never used to be. It's very consistent. I'll have a binge once in a blue moon, and I don't let it beat me up because I know that I'm managing it and I'm covering for it. The training is good, and I think as we've discussed over the last few weeks as well, putting more of an emphasis on the training and really kind of pushing through for that. And yeah, for me, it's I still feel like I'm moving to where I want to be. I still want to obviously trim down a little bit more, get more of that body fat off, but I certainly get to the point where it is sustainable and I can continue to be a certain body fat percentage or certain feel. Look, it's about how I can fit in my clothes, how I can feel confident in what I'm wearing and going about my daily business and not wanting to sit on the sofa and order a Domino's pizza and chug it down with 10 pints of beer. You know, that's only once a month I do that, but it's moving on from that, which I would do a lot of, to doing very little of now. And I just don't have I don't want to do that. I don't have the will to do that.
Would it be fair to say that where you are now is a different person, like as well as physically, but mentally, than you were, say, May time?
Oh, massively. Yeah. I mean, again, I'd like to have gone back to our first chat we had back in April, May, around what I wanted to do and how I was feeling, because it would have been a great deal different to how I'm feeling now. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for sharing your story.
It's a pleasure, Tom.
And yeah, it's great to see that transformation and how it's going to keep on going. And now you've got those tools and systems in place. It's I think it'd be something drastic would have to happen for you to go back to where you were now. I don't see that you're going to regress to that. You certainly have got everything in place now.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Even if things were to go back to another lockdown, God, I hope we don't have another one. But even if things go to that, I've got tools that can help me cover through that. Which I didn't have beforehand. So I don't even worry about that if that situation ever happens again.
Awesome, Andy. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
No, it's a pleasure, Tom. Anytime, mate.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. So I hope you got some insight into how Andy transformed his body there. I mean, if you watched all the way through and didn't just skip through the bits, then you would have seen that actually it was just applying very simple, consistent strategies of training regularly, doing a good amount of weightlifting. I mean, he didn't do any cardio, and this is something that people do. I suppose they sort of get misled into the fact that if they're looking to burn body fat, they have to do cardio, and that's absolutely not the case. As long as we can create a calorie deficit and do a lot of weight training to burn some calories off and to build muscle, then yeah, you can absolutely build a great physique without doing any sort of treadmill or running or whatever else. And Andy is sort of like myself. He doesn't like doing cardio. I mean, the only cardio I do is like the kettlebell workouts I do twice a week. And Andy didn't even do that. All he did was really, really push himself in the gym. Done, I think, 4 to 5 days of weight training, ate consistently, allowed himself to have days off on the weekend. He planned out for all those things using my coaching methods, and he got the results he wanted. But more importantly, over these sort of 5 months, he's now built those systems. And I always talk about systems in my videos, about building up these systems so that you can then, if you do have a wobble, if you do fall down, you're only falling to that level of your systems. And that's something that's really, really important, because that's something that 6-week shred packages or 8-week shred packages, they just don't do. The focus is on getting as much weight off as possible, and that's the main thing they're looking for. They're not looking to build up these things that are going to help you in the future. Now, Andy will I would say, is very unlikely to ever go back to where he was before, because over the course of the 5 months, he's moved the pointer that 1% each time to move how he actually perceives his actions, how he behaves, all the things he does. He's a different person now. Whereas if you're on a 6-week shred package, you're still the original person trying to lose weight by the end of the 6 weeks. You haven't given yourself time to adapt and change your personality and your lifestyle and your identity. And I know I talk about all these things again and again in my videos, but it's so important to remember that if you want to change your body for the long term, you've got to change your identity, change the person you are, and that just doesn't happen in 6 weeks. But you apply yourself over 5 to 6 months, then you've done that consistent effort, you start to change your personality, change your identity, and now you at the end of it, you're the person who doesn't binge, who doesn't sit down all day eating Doritos, who doesn't decide they're going to sit on the couch instead of going to the gym. You're a more active person, more active lifestyle, and your outlook on life is generally sort of more healthy and more activity. And that's what Andy's got. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to drop some comments below. And obviously, if you want to get in touch and inquire about my coaching methods, please do that. There should be a link in the comments. And that's great. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching.